because I understand that, the people in New Hampshire have been used to allowing the government officials to rule over them, to punish them. And they've had a long time where they have been depressed about what it is that has been done to them. So you got to realize, well, I know you know this, but in order to have freedom, you first must have conflict. And I'll give you an example why. Whenever government officials are trampling your rights, doing you wrong, what has to happen is you first have to address the issue. You have to tell people, hey, you've done something wrong. Am I too loud?
No, you're perfect.
Okay. You have to first tell people that they have done something wrong or they have not honored your wishes. So I believe that what we saw yesterday was the people standing up and using their voice and their power. And I think that what happened is that the people stood up and used their power, which is the biggest and hardest thing to do because it takes courage. So the people stood up, the people showed courage, but then something else happened. We see where a gentleman in politics came out of his mouth and said, oh no, deal with it, right? We're going to do what we do. This is our stuff. We are the people who are all that, Joey bribes. We the people is the government. So for the first time I've heard in New Hampshire, someone get out in the open and say, I'm your boss and you shut the freak up, which is good because what happens is that shows the people where they stand. When the people know where they stand, that's when they can truly come at them with the law. And so I think everything happened the way that it needed to happen in order for the people to see what they're really up against. So now they can fight using the law, standing on their rights, their guaranteed rights, and nobody will be able to stand in front of them now. Won't happen.
Man, I can't. I almost can't hold my tongue because when Marilyn Todd comes on, there's something. I talked to her on the phone. She tried to get a hold of some attorneys, Dave.
They're like, no way.
I'm just gonna let her tell. I'm gonna let her tell it. I said,
I'm gonna tell you how it went without her even being here.
Okay.
The way my license is set up, maybe you should look another way. Maybe if you guys go to the legislature and talk to them nicely, get on your knees and beg, maybe they can fix it. But I don't think we can really interfere because, we got all this money we're making in these secret programs. And, we really don't want to interfere with what these bosses are doing because we have a conflict of interest. But we're going to just act like we can't help you. But you ain't got to tell me now. She'll tell me.
Yeah. I said Dave Jose is going to have a field day with that.
Oh, yeah.
I understand that you guys were trying to get in touch with each other too. So we got a couple of people, Dave, that are coming on in a minute here, and one of them only has a very limited amount of time. So when Ken comes on, he has about 30 minutes with us. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to figure out what he, thinks about last night. But I'm going to tell you right now, Dave, I talked to these people, and these are two patriots out in New Hampshire that if they get empowered with this information, they are going to.
It's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah. They've had enough.
Woo!
They just need the right information and the right weapons and the right tools.
Oh,
so
boy.
I thought to myself, I'm getting blown up about this thing. Let's get these people together. Now we have Donald coming on. Donald.
Big Don from the fourth floor.
Do you know Donald?
Yes, I like Donald. Donald's the man.
Nice to meet you in person, sort of.
Nice to meet you through the interwebbings as well.
Yeah.
He motivates the heck out of me, Nick.
Donald's the man. And he was so helpful last night on the ground out in that meeting and volunteered to help live stream and all that. So we have Donald on and just another firsthand witness of what happened last night. And he also, guys, has a YouTube channel that's in the description. I want you guys to all subscribe to Donald because he's getting his start and he's got a lot to say. So, Dave.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have the other on in a few minutes, others on in a few minutes. And what did you find in the New Hampshire Constitution that's, you'd say, the most powerful?
Woo! Man, I did a video today. I sent it to you. It has like several things in it, bro. Like New Hampshire is the one that I love to use to nail them with. If you go to the Bills of Rights section 8, it is in the hood, we would say it is gangster.
Yeah, well, that's the live free or die state, right? They got to be gangster.
Y'all, man, their forefathers over there. Can I show y'all something? Hey, I got these 4 hats. These are the only ones in the world that could be found. So Ray Nuttall, Big Daddy Ray, married to Mama C, Crystal Nuttall, got these 4. We don't know if we'll ever be able to find any again, but we're going to find out who we're going to give them to wear. So they say, whoever you want to give them to, make sure you just give it to them. But I wanted y'all to see that because I'm going to figure out how to do it. I didn't know if I should give it to the fighter guys who are in the middle of the fight, you know, doing the news and stuff. I don't know if everybody will wear it. You got this pretty hair, Nick. And Behizy, he got that pretty hair
That's
too.
That's a cool hat, though. I like it.
Yeah, that perfect lineup, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I didn't know who all would want to wear it or whatever.
Thank you.
But I can't get a lineup anymore, so
Okay, great.
I don't need it.
Hey, Donald, it sounds like there's typing or something.
Not me.
No? Okay. So we have Ken.
Hey guys,
Hey, Ken, how's it going?
that's good.
Ken.
How about yourselves?
Doing awesome.
Yeah, we've got a battle going on here in Wyndham.
Y'all gonna win.
We are going to win.
Y'all gonna tear them to pieces. The
These
deep state
guys-
is falling apart.
Well, I got to tell you, the guys that are in our town government, we have some people. I mean, some of them I think at heart they're good people. But hey, Jay, how's it going?
Hello.
Hey, so we
It's
have
AJ.
some people that I
Is
think.
that
Good.
Maryland?
That's Marilyn that I was on the phone with earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
That don't look like the Maryland I saw.
She's on the phone right now. She'll be off the phone in a minute.
Maryland got a cool grown man beard, you know.
It happened overnight. How's it going, gentlemen?
Great. Go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So, you know, you always have to look at the glass as half full. So, you know, we rallied the town. And our selectmen have chosen to not listen to us. While I was at the meeting last night, I asked everyone in the crowd, there's probably about 500 people there, to text me their phone numbers. And people who want to help, I gave them my phone number. You know, God intervened. Let me back up. God intervened, right? The meeting was supposed to take place at the high school according to a selectman. They never changed the agenda item, so the meeting took place at the Community Development Center, which is the smallest meeting room in the entire town of Wyndham. So instead of allowing all of these people to participate in their representative government, they decided to have it in this room where the fire marshal and probably 10 policemen limited the entry to 30 people. And there were a lot of people outside who felt disenfranchised, and rightly so. So the people inside, they made a big stink about it. And they said, you have to move this to the Wyndham High School. And one of those people was Maryland. And they insisted. And when they gave pushback, Maryland pushed back even harder. The chief of police was getting involved and telling people to calm down. And they let the people in the room who were there sitting on the other side of the selectmen's table, they let them know that this is our government. You've got people out there. We want to be heard, and you guys are making a decision. And they then kind of hemmed and hawed and said, well, we don't know if the high school is available. And Marilyn had made a call earlier in the day, and she can share that call and confirm it. But basically, the high school was open. She called them out on it. She said the town administrator, who's right here, can verify that the building is open, and that you guys are cowards, essentially, if you don't hold the meeting in front of the people that you're supposed to be making decisions for. And God bless her, you know. I mean, this is what this whole movement has done since November 3rd. With everything that's been going on, people are now awake and they're tired of our government telling us, the little people, what to do, how to do it, what to say, and to just shut up and sit there and know what's best. So, the bottom line is, hey, Marilyn.
Hi, Ken.
So the bottom line is this, is before, when we got to the high school, the chairman of the select board said it's going to take about half an hour to get ready. So, just be patient. So for that half an hour, Marilyn and I, we got up in front. Since it wasn't an official open meeting, they couldn't stop us from talking. So we didn't have microphones. So we yelled at the top of our voices so that everyone could hear us. And they did. And then someone even brought down a couple of megaphones so that they could hear us. And I gave out my phone number and I said, everyone here who wants to get involved, who wants to do something about removing these people from office, here's my phone number. I gave them my name. I spelt it one letter at a time. I gave them my phone number, one number at a time. I said, does everybody got it? They said, do it one more time. I did. And from there on, my phone blew up. It was just bloop, 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 bloop. And it worked so hard that it actually stopped working. I got up to like 180 texts and it stopped. I couldn't make calls. I couldn't send texts. I couldn't receive texts. So later on in the evening, I turned it on and turned it off. But the bottom line is we have a motivated electorate. And these guys, they're not dealing with reality when they think that room was not filled with people who live in Wyndham. They think all these people will bust in like Antifa does. And, that's not the way we work. We don't pay money to come to all of these rallies and protests. These are people who are American patriots who are tired, absolutely fed up with what is happening across America. And the fact that it's happening here in our tiny little town of Wyndham is just the breaking point. And I am so proud and so psyched of everybody who's a part of this movement. Marilyn, myself, Tom Murray, you guys. I was talking to Nick earlier. I said, you guys, I consider you guys to be the Patriot Network collective. And I do. You guys should actually coin that phrase because, what you guys are doing is fabulous. I said last night, people are getting real news from people like you, not from the mainstream media anymore.
I got to say, Ken, when I talked to Marilyn after you, she said Patriot Party.
Yeah.
So now I'm confused.
Well, it is a Patriot Party.
Hey, wait, there's a Patriot Party that exists already.
That's right. So Patriot Network is open. So grab, at least I think it's open. So grab that while you can.
That's pretty cool. So yeah.
What about a whole bunch of Patriots and 2 chocolate brothers?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we have a couple of people on here that I was saying with Dave Jose and what he does with, Donald being somebody who lives in New Hampshire and Ken and Marilyn being 2 incredible fighters with what Dave does, the information that he's found in New Hampshire's Constitution, I think is going to be earth-shattering.
David, don't you think we have the most badass Constitution?
We definitely do.
I told somebody your Constitution, in a nice way, is gangster.
Yes. I thought so too.
Are you referring to the right of revolution?
That
Article 10.
Also, 8 is a monster. Like, see, most people who deal with law, they understand the Constitution backwards. So many think that we're in a democracy.
No.
And then
That's right.
people think republic means that the government, you have a representative democracy, right? Where the government, you handle your business through your elected officials, and then you wait every 4 years for them to learn and make decisions based on what they want, and then you can vote them out in 4 years or whatever. It is so crazy. People fail to realize that the government officials are amenable or accountable to us at all times. I don't care if you off on vacation. I don't care if it's during the session or not. I don't give a darn. When I send you a notice, your anus better respond, right? That's how the real law is. So if you ever look at the Bill of Rights in your Constitution, Section 8, it is monstrous because this guy who opened his mouth and was running his mouth in such a cocky manner. I was so thankful to God that he did that, because I'm like, exactly what you just did. Like Psalm 64, the words you use are going to be turned over in your own head. Those very words that just came out your mouth is going to be what hits you in a couple of days. So just get ready, you know? And I said, I can't wait to make this video for everybody. I made it this morning showing all these parts of the Constitution. It is devastating.
Awesome. So how are you going to let the public know about that? You're going to release it on this show?
No, he released it. It's been going viral on New Hampshire voter integrity.
Yeah,
I'll send
I
it to you,
put it up
Kat.
today. Yeah, I think, Nick, if you can today, you should play it today if everybody has time, you know, when they get time or whatever.
Well, I know we have Ken for only about 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, so after, whenever
Okay,
you want
we
to,
will play
whenever,
it after for sure. Now,
How long
Ken
is-
will definitely watch it later, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that Section 8, though, is devastating. Then you have another one close to the end of your Constitution that's really heavy, too. I mean, super heavy. So you guys are going to be able to mop the floor with them. And it's the reason it's so great is because the stuff that they already swore to. You're not saying anything new. You're not asking them to do anything that, you know, they didn't swear no to. And this is another funny thing. When most people try to trap the government officials, they'll say, look, you're not hearing our voice. You're not talking to us. You're not listening to us. You know, we have a right, right? The one problem is if you say we have a right, but you don't tell them which right they're destroying or stepping on, they feel like, well, you don't know, you didn't tell us, so I guess we're doing all this in good faith. Once you let them see where it says what it says, is game over. Like all these private meetings they've been saying, you guys been talking about.
Yeah.
Section 8 tells you that the government is to be accountable and responsive. So when you give them notice or affidavit, they're to respond. If they don't respond, they're breaking the law and trampling your rights, which they agreed to when they got hired.
Yep.
So you think about that. I put another one in there. Guess what it says? It says, when they do something wrong to you, you can go to your legislature for a redress of grievances.
That's
Right? Now, this gets nuts because so what you do first is you start giving everybody notices, right? So you give notices and affidavits to the selectmen, right? And then you CC the legislature and say, hey, this dude said he don't care what we say, and he's a boss and he's the man, and we just got to go by what he says and deal with it. And then you go to the legislature and say, hey, legislature, you know, this would be considered dereliction of duty and maladministration if you let this clown interfere with the people's rights and tell us that he's not going to hear us. So legislature, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right? So this is what Josh Barnett and I did to Arizona Board of Supervisors and the legislature. It got so bad that the gentleman, Royce Floyer, who worked for the treasurer, who quit, somebody gave him the notices that we were giving to these guys. And he's like, I ain't never seen people fighting like this. Like the Board of Supervisors actually fighting the legislature, you know? And so they were going at it, right? So we gave notice to Steve Trutry, the guy who said he wanted to have an audit. He was the only one. He said, against all my attorney's advice, I want the audit. He was in private meetings with Josh. Now, why in the world would he, as a Board of Supervisor member, be in a private meeting with Josh and Giuliani and all this stuff? It was because Josh hit him with a notice that was so devastating, and he added affidavits of fraud with it, frizzard.
Yeah. And
what ended up happening is this guy was so terrified, he went and met with Josh like the next day. Then they were on a video together, and Josh started schooling him with the Constitution. So the guy would not vote to push away an audit when the other guys did. But at the same time, we were CCing the legislature and giving them notices and affidavits too. So the legislature like, I don't know if we can let this roll, right? So the legislature started showing up and started, even when they were off work, they were actually sine die, and they came in and started hearing the information about the frizzard when nobody else could get them to come back to work. So I'm telling you guys, with what happened yesterday, I know the fear of God is about to go into these people.
Good.
It's going to be big.
Good.
So what are you thinking, Ken?
Well, we got a few things up our sleeves. I can't really share anything tonight too much. Marilyn's got a little something going on tomorrow. I guess she could tip her hand with that. You know, one of the selectmen made a statement last night, which I really believe to the bottom of my heart is disingenuous. But basically he said, if you can get enough signatures to show that there is a majority of the community, now he's going to take that literally. Okay. We've got 14,000 people who live in this town. So what are the odds that you're going to get 7,000 signatures in a couple of days? But his statement was, if you can get a majority of the community to show that they want us to reconsider our pick, then we'll go ahead and then he will go ahead and make a motion to reconsider. But here's what's really going to happen. Even if he got 10,000 signatures, the next meeting, they're going to go, well, you know, geez, this is great. And we made a mistake, but we've already picked our guy and he's already worked with the AG's pick. And now we've got a third auditor that our designees have picked. They've already put the process into place. And gosh darn it, we're just too far into the process.
Yeah. And they lied too. Like, sorry.
No, go ahead. Jump in.
So they like lied a lot last night. Didn't that bother you most, Ken? Is like how much they were, like they said that Jovan didn't enter information in directly. Yes, he did. So basically what happened is the reason why the video wasn't sent in directly is because of Google Drive. So Jovan was sending them emails, which I was CC'd on, which I have proof of, even before we sent in the video, right? Because we, before we interviewed, he directly sent them like his application and things like that, which was a lie. Like, and we weren't even allowed to say anything. And it was like, you're lying. There were so many things he lied about. Like I had to, when I called Wyndham yesterday to see if it was at the high school, if the high school was approved, this is what I had to say to them. I had to say, hey, is the high school approved? And they were like, oh, we don't know, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'm putting in a right to know for all your emails. And then they were like, the very next sentence was, all right, the high school's approved. And I was like, so that's why when I was in the meeting yesterday, like in the inside with the 21 people, I was like, I said to the town admin, I was like, tell these 5 people that the high school's approved. And he said that. He was like, it is approved. And then they walked out and then we were at the high school.
Hey, can I say something real quick? So what Ken said is beautiful when he said how, now one thing that we got to understand, guys, when you are putting the government officials in check, they really don't want to do what you're making them do. Some of them are really involved with criminals, deep state, drug trafficking, kid trafficking. They're involved heavy. So what you guys are doing, when you guys find out anything wrong happened in the selection, you're also going to find connections to people who put those people in because they were protecting the drug trade and child trade. So what you have to understand is that for a long time, we as a people forgot to instruct our representatives. Because we forgot to instruct them, it's abnormal for them to hear anybody tell them what to do. So they don't want to do what you're telling them. So you have to give them some inspiration to help them to make the right decision. Firstly, by getting rid of or creating separation of powers. These people have been working together as criminals. The more that you show that they're doing wrong and helping each other to do wrong, like when you said about the email, you're like, oh, we need to see all your emails then. They know if she sees all our emails, it's going to have all the connection of us doing wrong together. So that's not what we want.
Yeah.
Let's act like we don't like them. So that's what they're going to do. You're going to see, they're going to start separating like the Red Sea. They're going to say, I don't even know that person. We ain't had nothing to do with each other. Do they work in that office over there? I don't even think I ever seen them before. So you're doing right by that. In that section 8, it deals with giving notice to the government. You'll also see in your constitution, it says that it is your duty to instruct your representatives. Now, the attorneys have been instructing your representatives. And this is why it's hard for you, because the attorneys are telling the representatives that they have the power to make statutes over your rights. So they literally think they're making a decision for you and you don't have a right to instruct them in what decision. That's the crazy part. So I promise you, the selectmen don't know that it says in the Constitution that you can instruct government and go to the legislature for redress of grievance. So You're going to write this notice and you're going to force the legislature to go after the selectmen. The legislature also don't know the law. So for the first time, excuse me, drink cayenne. For the first time, you're going to see where the legislature is going to see the real law that you were supposed to instruct them with all the time. And it's going to tell that they have to listen to you and you get to instruct them, not the attorneys. And then you put in the notice that, look, if you don't follow what we say. Now, here's the other big thing. So it might feel like you can't get the majority, right? It is not enough time. Well, here's what the truth is. When you look at a Trump rally compared to a Biden rally, who shows up the most?
Trump.
There you go. The left doesn't show the heck up, period. In Arizona, when they needed to come up with $1 million, right? They didn't show up. They're like, we want you to affect this AUDIT, but we don't want to put the money, right? They don't show for each other and didn't go out and campaign this year because they knew they were going to steal it. Fine. That's awesome. So now when you put in your notices, guess who has the majority?
Oh, Jesus.
See, if you get 100 people who turn in a notice or an affidavit and the other side turns in 0, who does the government have to follow if you instruct them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Also,
Yep.
your Constitution says that the government was founded on the people's will. Georgia says the people's will only.
Can you
These
say that
are-
one more time?
So your Constitution says that the government was founded on the people's will. Now, this is important because they are your trustees and servants. A lot of times we look at them like leaders. They are not leaders. They
Right.
just handle your business when you're not there. So you say, okay, look, I want to go farm. I want to go cook. I want to go hang out with my family and work. So I'll let you create a sheriff's department or put people in the seats, who work for the sheriff. The main sheriff will elect. And those people, if something happened at my house, you can send out the sheriff to go arrest somebody, right? Now, they are your servants and trustees. Did you know that they don't have the power to even make a law against you? Sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if they say we're going to make a law that says you have to get a vaccination, right? Right? One of those things with the syringe thingy.
Yeah.
They can't do that. They can't do that. It is impossible to make a law that goes against your life, liberty, or property. It's impossible.
Yep.
So what they're doing is they're writing statutes because the attorneys are telling them to, and they're trying to apply it to you. So when that guy said, we're going to make a decision for you. No, you don't get to do that. What you get to do is you get to be instructed by us, like the state legislature, and you follow what we say or somebody going to fix it. That's what redress of grievance is. When you trampled my right with your idiotic idea that you made on your own that we didn't give you the power to make, you better fix it. So everything that guy said is so perfect right now. Like, you guys are going to get him. But you have to use the Constitution they swear to. Don't make any arguments outside of what they swore to, because it lets them get off. Like if you say, like for instance, if you say Jovan, right? Is Jovan qualified to see good or bad, right? In Arizona, we had it where a couple of
Hey,
senators.
look who it is.
Hey,
Is that
Jovan,
the
what's
real
up?
Jovan?
Love you.
Wait, is that the
I
real
hope that's the
Jovan?
real Jovan. It
has
his
no
first and middle name
space.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's the real
Don't,
Jovan.
y'all better not be using Jovan stuff faking. We'll come see y'all because we like Jovan,
Everybody's saying hi to somebody.
Yeah, but what's funny?
Yeah. Right.
What happened is in Arizona, a couple of people act like they had an attitude with Jovan, or they didn't like his attitude. You know what we did? We wrote a notice like this. This part of the Constitution says you follow us. This part of the Constitution says the people have all political power. We don't give a darn about your feelings about this guy. We order you to use Jovan and the other gentleman that got used. And guess who's there? The two people we ordered. We didn't send a million notices. We just let them know we're not playing. You can hire anybody else you want to, but you're gonna hire the people.
And that's what I said. I said we're firing them all. Like Jovan is coming. Like we have, he's coming here, and I'm not gonna, me and Ken and Tom and AJ and Dawn, none of us are giving up. None of us. Period.
But the people, you
Jovan
have all
will
political
be
power.
here.
You have all the political power. So you are to instruct your legislature, right? Listen, I don't give a darn if they make 50 decisions when go ahead.
How do you give a formal notice in the way that you guys were giving it?
So simply, you're going to create a document. You're going to put who is going to be at the top. Anybody you're going to CC, you can add at the top from you, your name, name, address, and phone number, email, whatever you want to add. You're going to put notice. And then after that, you're going to say, hold on, wait, let me say this real quick. For the clowns who sitting out here as attorneys who are thinking that, oh, we're going to get Dave for practicing law without a license. The law in every state says that the people can come together and consult for the common good and instruct their representatives, legislature. And we can also bring y'all by right back to the fundamental principles of law. So we created the real law, not just statutory silly stuff. We created the real law so we could talk about it. So if you got an issue, mail me something and we'll deal with you. But so the way you do it is you're going to put notice at the top, right?
Yep.
If you make an affidavit and you're swearing to something, you're going to say notice by affidavit, right? Notice of maladministration by affidavit, notice of treason by affidavit, notice of whatever, notice we don't like what you're doing by affidavit, right? If it's just a regular notice and you're showing the Constitution they didn't do anything wrong yet, you're going to put notice. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to say notice to agent is notice to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. Why? Because when you give them something and one of their local people at the desk get it, you want to make sure that they know if you touch it, any one of your people, y'all all included. And if the top guy get it, you better tell everybody up under you, right? So that's going to give notice of what it is that the way that you are noticing them, right? So you're making sure that it hits everybody. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to claim who you are. So they want to say everybody here is from another state. Go ahead.
Hold on. Wait, so Jovan is live right now. He's saying it's me, and he's streaming our feed saying they don't think it's me. So it really was him.
Wow.
And if you're still listening, Jovan, how do we get Jovan into this? Because we need Jovan in the show.
Jovan!
Well, look, that's the thing. Send him a link, but all we need to do is get. Well, you know what? You might want to send.
Email? I'll send you his email, Nick.
You have his email?
Yeah.
Well, let's get him in here now, Dave. I don't mean to interrupt, but we only have Ken till 9.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So Ken, I want to.
Ken can stay on for Jovan. Ken, stay on.
Well, I might be able to.
All right. Yeah.
This is awesome. We're about to have Jovan Pulitzer up in here, and now I feel like there is some kind of divine thing connecting us all. It's definitely happening.
Of course there is.
Yeah, not that I didn't already know that, but guys, this is amazing. Okay, so Jovan Hutton Pulitzer is going to be on here. What do you think about that, Donald?
I think
it's
it's
the same link that you sent me.
What's that? Yes, you can just forward it to him.
Okay.
Now that we only have Ken for a couple more minutes, Ken, talk to us. I want to know what you're thinking right now.
Well, today I was kind of catching up. I was telling you guys that at the beginning of the meeting, we had 30 minutes of uninterrupted time to talk to the crowd, and Marilyn and I took great advantage of that. And I had people, there's over 200 people texted me their phone numbers to tell me that they wanted to actively help with our quest to remove the local government in Windham. It's pretty incredible. Talk about having a motivated electorate. These guys are our best opposition to them. And everything they said in the meeting afterwards just reinforced everybody's anger. Now, there are people who will say, when you look at a meeting like that and you have people in the crowd who are being unruly, they're being loud and boisterous, and they're expressing their frustration.
No way. It's the man himself.
It's not really me. I was tempted to go and chat when somebody notified me on Telegram y'all were talking, and I wanted to listen because I'm interested in the Hampshire thing. As soon as y'all said, "Oh, that's a fake Jovan," I was thinking that fat, white, big, bald-headed capitalist pig. You're right. You caught me. So y'all go on. No, this is Ken's time. I'm going to shut up, and then we'll talk. This is Ken's time. Go.
The left will be on the news tomorrow saying it wasn't really Jovan. It was a fake. he
Good. I yield my time to the master right there.
No. Ken, come on, please, brother. Everybody's been waiting to listen to you. You've got it. Please, continue. What you have to say is important. I'm only a spectator here, and I want to hear this just like everybody else. We got thousands of people watching. It's very important to get your message out. Ken, go.
Well, okay. So basically, I was sifting through all these text messages and turning them into communications and asking all these people to send me email so I can get their email addresses. We're putting together, an army of people. I worked very closely with AJ in Maryland and Tom Murray, who was on the show a couple of nights ago. And one thing I'm going to do is I've worked up a very good relationship with Secretary of State Bill Gardner. So I plan on calling him tomorrow. I wanted to do that today, but I'll do it tomorrow. And I'll see what he can do to help us get our hands on the ballots, because, getting Jovan without the ballots really isn't going to do us any good, I don't think, because he's the master of the original source document. And, if you've seen any of his presentations, he's very clear. He breaks it down into very simple terms that any American can understand as to why our ballots
Except for our selectmen. Except for our selectmen, Ken.
No, they understand very well. That's why they're acting the way they act.
True.
Our selectmen need a lesson in how a constitutional republic is supposed to work, and they're going to get it. Let me tell you, we have people in this town who, I said last night, they have stated that they will dedicate their life's mission over the next year to get one of those guys removed from office. There's only one that's up for re-election. And I'm going to be there right by his side. And I'm sure Marilyn and AJ are going to be right there with me, as well as a few hundred other people. We're going to canvass this town not once, but just we're going to make this whole town aware of the egregious decisions that collectively they have made. We have one excellent board member. He stood up against 4 fellow board members. That's not always an easy thing to do. And they tried to put him on the spot last night. They asked him pointed questions, which really were opinionated answers. They weren't answers that were based in fact. One of the selectmen that I've been exposing, I guess is the right term, in some of the latest posts that I've made to the Granite Rock, he tried to make it sound like I've been lying. Well, you know what? We spoke with an attorney today, and we need to follow up with another one. And, me and Tom Murray are very seriously considering a slander lawsuit against this guy, because he's using a public platform to defame me. And everything that I write, everything that I say, it's all based on fact. It's all based on documented information that I can go back and point to. And in addition to that, when Tom Murray called for point of order, they wouldn't recognize him. When I called for point of order, they wouldn't recognize me. So, that not only is Heath Partington has he opened up himself personally, not the town, himself personally. Ross McLeod, as the chairman, has opened up himself personally, because he allowed that type of rhetoric to continue and slander to continue. But he's opened up the town for a lawsuit as well. This is the type of behavior that is an abuse of power. And many people will back down, and many people will cower and think, you know what? I don't want to get my government upset with me, because I may need to, modify my house, and they may turn me down in the zoning board, like maybe Maryland, Todd, and AJ. And that will come back to haunt the zoning board as well. But we're going to fight one battle at a time, but we're going to win them all. I guarantee you. These people are cancer to this town. They've been cancer for years, and I've had enough. That's not a threat, okay? That's a promise. I am dedicated to getting these people out of office. And we have a plan, and we're going to lay it out. And over the next couple of weeks, we're going to reveal that plan, and we are going to be successful. Now, a few years ago, I put together the Wyndham Taxpayers Coalition. And for the first couple months, they laughed at us. These elitists, these snotty, snobby, arrogant people in our town thought, well, who do they think they are? They're not part of our club. And geez, they think they're going to play government alongside of us. Well, the first year, we canceled their $90 million school project, which was going to be in 2 phases, a $50 million project and then another $40 million project. And instead, we defeated that 2-1. And then the next year I ran for office and I won in the school board. And then the next year, Tom Murray and another conservative won, and we took over the school board. And then we put together a school project to add some infrastructure at a total cost of $48 million. So we saved the town, documented, probably $40 million. And in fact, no, it's $45 million total. In addition to other expenditures, we did an internal controls audit, which everyone was against. What are you accusing the business administrator of fraud? No, we just want to make sure that he's doing everything right. We were bringing in a new superintendent, and lo and behold, that internal controls review audit revealed 130 risks and deficiencies. So what showed up in that audit? Things like, well, our business administrator was handing out Apple iTunes cards like candy to all of the staff in the tunes of thousands of dollars without tracking any of it. We had millions of dollars of computer equipment without knowing what the serial numbers were, who had their hands on what equipment. I mean, so many different things. So, they made fun of us when we put together the Wyndham Taxpayers Coalition. Let them make fun of us now, because, we don't want them to take us seriously. We're going to come. We're taking our town back. I'm telling them right to their faces, you guys are toast. And Marilyn and I and AJ and many others are going to ensure that that's going to happen. So in the meantime, we want to take care of the most important task at hand. We're focused on that. We want to make sure that our elections, we get the answers to our elections. And there's multiple questions. And even if we do a recount using Jovan's technology, we still want to go through the process of looking at our machines and making sure that everything is on the up and up there. Because there's been a lot of different types of anomalies that raise questions, and we want to answer all the questions and just make sure that everything's functioning properly. So that's my spiel. I'd like to come back in a couple of days and reveal some other things that we're working on, but I do really want to hear from Jovan. He's the man of the hour. He's the guy who's got his fingers on the button of what's going on, and we anxiously wait to hear your words of wisdom.
Ken, amazing. I mean, when I hear what you've already accomplished and I hear what you've been able to do with your fellow citizens there, it's no wonder you guys walked in and literally kicked their ass, and people were watching this all around the globe. People were commenting on it like, holy smokes. I don't think you really realize, Marilyn and guys, what y'all did. You may be the very fire that lit a fire under everybody's ass, saying, I am fed up and I can't take anymore. I am insignificant in this. I just am providing technology to do this. None of this will happen without you guys. But what you did and how your elected officials treated you with the big screw you, it's brilliant. You got it copied on tape. That's because right. People are seeing, holy crap, I'm not going to do this anymore. So Ken, I make major freaking kudos, and Marilyn, major kudos. And I was not to sound like a snowflake wussy, but it was like tears to my eyes last night to see people carrying signs with my name on it. I'm going, you can ask my family, I'm going, holy shit. I felt proud, and then I said, oh, wow, that's like heavy, but the point is, we've been conditioned for almost 6 years now to shut the hell up, or you're going to be canceled. I jumped into it because I can't be canceled. If you go back and look at my career, they can try canceling me all they want. It's just the way it goes. But you only get canceled if you give up. You only get canceled if you stop. That's it. And one thing I've learned about these cancer culture people is they are wimps with no stamina. And aside from having no stamina, no balls, no facts, and no tenacity, we have what it takes to win this. But your town, talking about a revolution, talking about getting people on the streets, you know, I always say that, and I know this is going to sound weird, I am glad President Trump didn't immediately go into a second term.
Me
Please
too.
hold on with me for a minute. It's because we would have not seen what he really gave up and what he was really fighting if that transition would have been smooth. This is the greatest monumental event in the history of mankind. This is like Rome falling, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because we can fix what's going on with us because we know what's coming. But if all the Roman citizens could broadcast it to the world and everybody could see it and come to the rescue. And I'll tell you right now, mainstream media, which is basically maelstrom, right? Media minions, they're not showing around the world, but I hear from around the world every day, talk with leaders, talk with royal families. They are all praying that we're victorious in this because they know we fall, they fall. So I'm telling you right now, each of you on this screen and doing this stuff and those things, you are talking moments in history that will be talked about for 100+ years of the people. For the first time in history, we're not another great nation or republic falling. We are another great nation or republic exposing the corruptness of how great nations fall and the people taking it over the right way. We're not donning masks, some black clothes and throwing Molotov cocktails, but I can tell you what, we're beating the hell out of their ass with facts, logic, and patriotism.
We made the virtual shot last night of this, the first shot of the Second American Revolution right here in Windham.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We are taking our country back one town at a time. And look, we're not the only ones who are doing this. There's people stepping up all across America. I am proud. I am honored that God has chosen me to be one of his soldiers, and we are empowered. We are empowered deeply with strength and with knowledge, with wisdom, with just the good sense of how we must behave and the things that we must do, you know, to do the right things at the right time for the right reasons. And together, in unity, we cannot fail.
No, we only fail if we give up. We only fail if we stop talking. We've been sold for decades. Don't talk about politics and religion. It's a no-no. You know why they did that? To get us shutting up, talking about politics and religion, and stop educating our children and our friends, knowing where we stand. They taught everybody to be in isolated little wimped out corners. They go, no, I can't hear it. You're hurting me. You're hurting me. That's what happened. We have to start doing what they told us not to do.
Listen, you said before that, you know, they try to cancel people. And if you don't stop talking, the stronger you get. If you stand up to the bullies, you get stronger because people realize you actually empower other people. They realize, holy smokes, they can't cancel you if you don't submit. And they get empowered, come out, and then more people see that they are not